Hello and welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann and I am so glad that you are here today. It is still July and that means we are still working on the Junk Journal July Challenge. And let's go ahead and jump in because today I'm taking a little bit different approach than I have the last couple of days. So I'll explain. Let's jump right in. So I've got my tray of botanical items here. But before I explain that, let's go ahead and take a look at the prompt here. So it is day 10. And if I look here, day 10 is food. Now, here's the thing. You start creating a journal and some people just do whatever on each page. And I do that when I just sort of daily journal. But when I'm doing a challenge and I've got a series of prompts, one right after the other, in my brain, because they're all related to the challenge, they need to feel connected in some way. So I've got a little bit of a color scheme going here, and I've got a bit of a vibe going here. And I mean, all in all, I think the vibe is probably just kind of my usual vibe. Maybe a little less botanical than normal, but nonetheless, my vibe. And so as I was thinking about this prompt, I really needed to think about that vibe, at least for myself. So I'm going to use this page, I think, today. And hopefully, well, that's not going to work. Can't put that over top. Not sure if that's going to hold it or not. Actually, let's maybe try up here just to keep it down a bit. All right, and I am going to zoom just a tad there to get that a little better in frame. Okay, so I don't want to ignore what I've done in the journal so far. These colors are a little bit darker than some of the pages, but I do have a few pages that also have these dark colors. And so I'm okay with this as sort of like a starting point for color, but I don't want to go with a really dark, heavy thing. And I also don't want to do like a literal, here's a chicken leg, or here's a picture of a hamburger. So I was thinking, how could I sort of stay with the feel that I've got going here, be true to myself, and also follow that prompt of food. And then I had the idea. So I have this little drawer of, or drawer unit with these little drawers, and they're great for holding bits of ephemera. And this particular one is what I call botanicals. So it's all of these things that aren't necessarily flowers. They're leaves, or they're mushrooms, or they're fruits and vegetables. So they're botanical, but they're not floral. And so I thought, well, a number of these, like this, for example, are of fruits and vegetables. So I thought that counts as food. So I thought I would go through and pull some things from my little stash here that I thought worked color-wise with this background and fit the theme of fruit. And so I'm going to just kind of do that and see where it takes me. actually 3 piles going here. Let me explain my madness. So I found I'd forgotten I made these little clusters. Not so much this one, but these little clusters with just scraps of paper and mushrooms, and I thought color-wise they were sort of interesting, and they're a little grungier than the rest of the journal, but I wanted to at least kind of play with them. And actually this is the only one that I really like, and I'm thinking not, so I'm gonna bag that. And then I also, as I said, I was originally thinking kind of along the route of botanicals, and I grabbed these 3 because they were sort of similar, and I thought perhaps I could use more than one of them because they're all vegetables, or yeah, I guess they're all vegetables. And then I grabbed some of these because I thought they could also be interesting in the background, and color-wise they absolutely work. And then I grabbed this, I'm not sure that it really is right, but I pulled it out just in case. And same thing with this, I just thought maybe for a little pop of color that might also be good. So just some random leaves. And then I also kind of liked this, and I thought it worked, but it was a little bit of a contrast. So these were sort of interesting, and I thought maybe I could play with those. But then I also, very different feel, but I thought color-wise these worked, and I thought it was worth at least a little bit of a play. I think this one's just too dark. I do think this is fun though, and I feel like this kind of fits that sort of summery, quirky vibe as well. And so now I have to decide which direction I want to go. And, you know, do I want to go with something just here and just build off of this, or do I want to go with these cards? Because I could always put something, you know, in the background, like, for example, you know, something like this in the background that was a little bit lighter to lighten that up even more. Or maybe even this text, that might be kind of cool. Or, you know, one of the other pieces that I have with text on it. That's a little too gray, I think. So I could definitely do that. And that's kind of fun. Or I could go with something a little bit more minimal and kind of do a bit here, maybe with some of these leaves around it. And I like that, but that just feels very, very different from the rest of the page. So I think I am going to lose this. And then I also could do something here. I kind of don't want to fussy cut these. I really like them with the white background. So I wonder if I could do almost like a little gallery sort of thing there. I don't know, again, this doesn't feel as boho as the rest of the journal. So even though I really thought when I started this was where I was going to go, and I do absolutely love these with this background, I don't think I'm going to go that route because I do want this journal to have a little bit more of a unified feel. So I think this quirky pear is going to be my starting spot. So let me do a little bit of fussy cutting on this, and let me grab some other papers that I can potentially use kind of behind this, and then we'll put together our page. Okay, so I pulled some stuff from my stash that I thought would be fun to kind of play with. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I want something for down here, I think, to journal on. And so I was thinking maybe this, it's a little too wide, but I could trim it off and use that. So that's a possibility. And then I also thought this would be fun. Again, it's a little too wide, so I'd have to trim it off. But then I also thought I could put my prompt here and then still have room for a bulleted list. So I'm really liking this one as a possibility for the page. And I think I might put this here just so that I kind of keep in mind how much space I want to use up at the top so that I have room to put something down to journal on. So I also grabbed some things. I hung on to my leaves just in case, although I'm thinking I'm not going to use them. But I grabbed some things that I thought I could use kind of behind. So a couple of bits and pieces of things. And I also grabbed a bunch of labels because, again, I was thinking possibly for something down here or possibly up here. And one of the things that I remembered I had in my stash were these actual bingo cards. And this page back here says bingo, and I thought that could be super fun to use, and they're lighter. So I thought maybe, you know, like that might be cool. Like I like the brown. And then I've also got this sort of peachy color, which would definitely fit with the journal a little bit, but I don't know that I love it with the page. So maybe bag the peach. Purple is a definite no. Then there's this sort of black color, which isn't horrible. I think I like the brown better, but it's not horrible. And then I have this blue color, which again is interesting with the journal and with the peach, but I don't think it works with the background. So maybe this brown, or maybe the black. The brown is a little bit lighter. Black is a little bit more pronounced. I'm not sure. I also grabbed this little ephemera card from something. I don't like that though. I'm gonna lose that right now. This I thought was fun because it felt sort of grid-like, just like this, but it was green and kind of helped it pop a little bit off the page. And I do like the way that looks, but I feel like that with this, it's too, I don't know, too boxy. I found this ticket. I got this last year on vacation, a whole stack of them. And I thought this would be fun to kind of change up the color scheme a little bit. And I actually really like that. So now thinking maybe this isn't the right choice. Let me pull this off. And I thought these buy one, get one. I mean, they're from Barnes & Noble, but I just thought they were fun and kind of quirky to use. Maybe that seems really dark. That's a little better. And it kind of blends into the background, and then now that might work. I think I like that better than this super large thing. And I'm also liking this and not feeling the bingo thing so much anymore. So I'm just gonna go this direction. I am seeing, so just because of this color combination, I'm wondering if, no, I do kind of like this, just sort of being in the background. This little sheet of labels is also cool. Oh. No, I do think I like this neutral thing. I thought this was fun with the fruit. Maybe tuck that in there like so. And then I also just really love these number labels, but I think that might be too much. What would happen if I stuck this back there? That's really kind of interesting. I am really liking that. I like the round. Let me pull that out because I've got two others just to see. That's two same. How about the yellow? The yellow's a little more monochromatic. The pink, I love this. This is so not at all where I thought I was heading when I started out. And I actually love that. I'm also gonna, I think, lose the leaves. Don't think I need them. And then the only question, and I'm not 100% sure I need the Barnes & Noble stickers either. I'm gonna kind of go this route with this and just sort of layer everything on, and I think I may have settled on what I need to do. Okay, that is working for me, and I do think that this label is good and appropriate here. So I'm going to go ahead and just affix it onto the page. So a tip, this plastic that often is what stickers are backed on, I like to hang on to this because if you're trying to do letter stickers, you can often use this to help you get the letter stickers aligned properly and then stick them down to the page. So if you have some of this backing, hang on to it because it can come in handy for you. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. I do need to do, I'm not 100% sure that I'm done. What I want to do is do my label for the prompt and decide where I want that on the page, and then I will determine whether or not I need to do anything else. So it is day 10. So you don't have to do this. I think I've mentioned in other videos. It's something that I like to do when I'm working on a challenge, but it definitely, you know, it does make the journal and the journal page feel a little bit about the prompt and a little less about maybe what you're writing on the page. So if that's something that bothers you, then maybe don't do that. It doesn't bother me. Okay, so one idea is just to put it way down here and let it sort of disappear. I also thought possibly about tucking it in here, or maybe even letting it be part of the page. I don't like that. That's a possibility. I like that even better. So here, I think, or here. I think here, go ahead and do it here. So I feel like that kind of connects these two things together a little bit. And yes, I've got a little journal spot here and my little piece of fruit. I do think I want to grab my trusty Micron 005 and do just a little bit of scribbly outlining around my pear. A lot of this won't be visible because the background is so dark. I like to do this because I feel like it adds a little bit of a handmade feel to the page. It doesn't take a ton of artistic ability. And then just a tiny bit of texture. So there, I think that I am done. I'm pretty satisfied with that page. And I hope that you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed putting this page together. It's definitely not what I thought I was going to end up with, but I'm actually very pleased with it. Please do yourself a favor, sit down, make something today, even if it's not related to the prompt. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you make a great day.